Welcome guys to Pure Property Investment One-on-One. We're here today with Jeremy Yanodzelli, who is the partner or a partner at Keshup Chartered Accountants. He's also quite an enthusiastic property investor with a sizable property portfolio himself. Speaking of which, today we really want to discuss quite topically end of financial year and when it comes down to property investors looking to claim potential deductions. Record keeping is key, and if you don't have a record of it, realistically you shouldn't be claiming it. So what I wanted to hopefully chat with Jeremy today about is some of the ways, tips and tricks that you can keep good records of your property investments ongoing.
Fantastic. Look, record keeping is very important. The ATO are a business and they're there to collect our taxes, and they're obviously there to provide any refunds which people are due. So it's very important that we do keep a very, I would say, tight and stringent record of expenses as well as income. The ATO do have the right to request any potential receipts that we have put through in our tax return. So I like to personally utilise filing, electronic filing, as well as Excels. I'm a big Excel fan. When managing quite a large and diverse range of properties, we need to make sure we keep track of our expenses. And that's just not putting receipts into a folder, but also moving that data into an Excel summary, which can provide you with, I suppose, real life information about how the property is tracking. So you Paul, being a property professional in the buyer's agency arena, in the property concierge arena, you like to see how your clients' properties are travelling on a month-by-month basis.
Yep.
And to get all that data and information, you would like to see that on a nice collated spreadsheet. So what I've done personally for my own portfolio is I've spoken with other accountants as well as looked at the return itself and said, well, what things do I need to put into an Excel summary so that I, being the accountant doing the tax return, can see it quite easily, and I, being a property investor, can collate that data and extract what I need to. So I suppose having the information that you collect from your property manager, or getting your property manager to pay a large sum of the expenses if you're comfortable with, helps, because it is documented on a very easy summary that they do provide you at the end of the year. But also transferring that data of expenses that you've paid together with what the property manager has provided you and putting that onto an Excel, just to see what your monthly or quarterly or half yearly or yearly position is on that particular property investment, will make you a better investor. And it will give the professionals around you a better look, the more in-depth look into how your property portfolio is performing. Because as we like to say, property investment is not just a plan that we make today and we don't change it. It is evolving, it is changing. Absolutely. And the professionals around you need to see that data. Not only just for the tax return to be completed, but the right advice moving forward for different properties which would suit you in your investment strategy. So I suppose that is the real reason as to why I like to keep records for myself very, I suppose, up to date, very easy to read and very easy to understand, because it does make it easier for the professionals come tax time, but also come review time as well when you are looking for that new property in your portfolio.
Mate, it's a very good detailed summary of that, and for me it probably speaks volumes to the fact that being a property investor and a professional property investor is a business. And if you have a different mindset other than saying, I want to run this as a business and make sure my expenses are only expenses that I need to pay, or potentially they're looking at maximising your returns on that investment, and also record keeping and making sure that you don't just know your P&Ls or your end of financial years on your profits, your losses on a 12-monthly basis, breaking that down and understanding quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and then potentially breaking down on a monthly and a weekly basis, because cash flow, even from an earnings perspective, if you're in a PAYG or a business owner's position, you need to know how much money is going to be forked out versus how much money is going to come in on a weekly, a monthly, fortnightly, quarterly basis. And I think some people, unfortunately, sometimes maybe get a little bit too potentially complacent and not necessarily pragmatic enough to say, I really want to know where my money's going in and coming out, not just the end of the financial year saying, here's my summary, here's how much that property cost me or made me in the year. Probably being able to plan a little bit more methodically, saying, I know how much it costs me per quarter or per month or per week. And that way you can plan your next purchase and all subsequent purchases thereafter. But mate, great advice, and I think they're things that really property investors should start to think about. And there's absolute litany of different apps and software opportunities for people to have control of their ingoings and outgoings these days as compared to even 10 years ago. So there's no excuse for being a lazy investor. Just because you run it as a business doesn't mean it needs to be super labor intensive. You can realistically try to outsource and plug in a lot of this data to software and different apps and systems that can do this work for you. So worthwhile having a chat to Jeremy or myself about different options out there, guys, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.